Hey y'all, it's Nick. Today let's talk about being careful with your comps. So if you're thinking about buying investment property or you're already buying investment property, you've probably heard that you should look at the comps or comparable sold properties to the one that you're interested in. Sometimes really easy to find comps. Sometimes they can be a little tricky. Here's what happened to me this week. A friend of mine called me. He's an experienced investor. He's like, hey Nick, you want to buy this house, man? It's right there. It's right there, same neighborhood as that one that you own. You own a rental property over there. Oh, cool. I do own a rental property over there. I own this house right here. Okay, so he sent me over. He found this house right here. Guy wants to sell it. Sounds like a good deal. So he said, hey man, I want to pull some comps from the area. He sent me the comps. Just did a little circle, like a little half-mile circle. Sometimes that's perfectly fine. In this case, I got to call him back and I said, hey man, your comps are wrong. What do you mean? It's right there. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like 75 yards away, right? He's like, it's right there. It's in the same neighborhood. Well, it's actually not. Now I know this because I know this neighborhood and I've owned this house a long time. And I know that sometimes you've got to be careful because right about here, it's actually two separate neighborhoods, okay? And for whatever reason, these are worth about $30,000, $40,000 more than the properties that are over here. They have a higher perceived value. Why they're worth more is not so much what's important here. It's just being very careful because when you look at it and if you pull the comps in here, okay, and all these properties that are over here have a higher value than these ones that are over here. If you're driving these neighborhoods, they look very similar and it'd be easy to get them mixed up. He's a friend of mine. He was not trying to trick me. And I explained to him like, hey man, you really got to separate these two. So buying this property, you can't use values from right here because they're actually two different ones. So you've got to be very careful sometimes when you pull comps from just a certain area or just a certain distance around. A couple things you can do if you don't happen to know the neighborhoods like I knew this one. Lots of times you've got a county appraisal district, like we're in Bexar County here in San Antonio. So we have BCAD. Bexar County Appraisal District. You can type in the address on there and it'll say most of the time which neighborhood it belongs to. Other counties have something similar to that. A lot of them run off a very similar system. So lots of times you could look it up. Okay, well, how else are you gonna know? Well, if you're pulling the comps and something doesn't seem right, like they look similar, you did things like you checked your beds, your bath, your square footage. Man, but you in one area or one section, you're getting a lot lower value than the other. Take a minute, double check your comps to make sure that you're not making a mistake. One, when you're trying to put a value on the house, especially if you're looking to purchase this property, some of these swings can be real big. Some of those, obviously different neighborhoods, okay, where a neighborhood can separate, either historic districts, okay? Sometimes you'll be walking down the street, you step over to this side, now you're all of a sudden in a historic district and those values can be substantially more in certain places. Another thing to look out on historic, lots of times the street signs, Pecan Street, Main Street, will be a different color. So if you see that, it doesn't always mean it's historic, but it might mean, hey, wait a minute, maybe I should take a look at this if I know that all the street signs are green and now all these are blue, right? Another school districts can be another one. If there's a really highly desired school district, sometimes those lines cut right down a certain street. This property over here goes to this school district, this one goes to this one, can really change the value. Another one that I see catch people quite a bit is the year built. Sometimes, say this neighborhood over here, like this whole section was the first part of the neighborhood, so it was built in 1980. And somebody later came in, I mean, the streets are connected, everything looks like it's the same, but then maybe this was built in 2005. These are 25 years newer. There's a big difference in the age of the house. Lots of times that can really affect the value. So you've got to, even though you're gonna compare your beds, your bath, your square footage, make sure if something doesn't look quite right, double check. Make sure there's not something that's in there until you learn all the neighborhoods, still double check. So be careful with your comps. It can save you a lot of headache. Can save you a lot of money and really help put that correct value on the property that you're looking at. I hope this helps. If we can do anything for you, give us a shout, 210-201-6644 or through the website sellmysanantoniohouse.com.